It's time for Focus now, and today we're shining a light on a new law in Hungary that's threatening universities and NGOs. The Prime Minister there has been targeting foreign-funded organisations, saying they threaten Hungary's sovereignty. But students and rights groups say Viktor Orban is just trying to silence voices of criticism within his country. Our team in Budapest went to talk to some of them. This report from Nick Spicer.
The government attack on civil society is underway. Its first target is right in the middle of the capital, Budapest. In these brand new buildings, the Central European University welcomes some 1,500 students from over 100 countries. The private institution is considered one of the best in the country. It has taught and trained top leaders, and yet it has to close. For students who have been mobilized for weeks now, the future looks dark.
This will seriously undermine any kind of prospect for this country to become part of an integrated Europe.
I came to this university because I believe in the values it teaches. They're the same ones as the European Union's been teaching me all my life, and so the idea of shutting this place down is really unbelievable.
The law voted through on Monday takes away the operating licenses of places of learning financed overseas which do not have a campus in their home country. A tailor-made law for this place, and through it, its founder, the financier George Soros, originally Hungarian himself. The multifaceted billionaire made his money in the stock and financial markets. In Central Europe, he's been a giant figure since the 1980s, a man whose foundation has promoted open societies and democracy through a network of institutions. He's also the perfect enemy for Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who accuses Soros of financing the political opposition and dozens of NGOs.
You're probably aware that there are large-bodied predators who are swimming here in our waters. This is the transborder empire of George Soros, with tons of money and international heavy artillery.
The NGOs financed by Soros will soon have to declare their income or face being shut down. It's a measure that will hit the Hungarian Helsinki Committee, which helps migrants, another target of the government.
NGOs are considered the enemy because we are the only audible voice criticizing the government. The international community listens to us, as does Brussels. We win cases before the European Court of Human Rights, and that's an annoyance in our populist political system.
Putting NGOs on a blacklist of sorts is a first in a European Union country. As part of a national consultation, the government sent a document to Hungarians. It's biased heavily against the European Union, asylum seekers, and NGOs. But for this majority MP, these organizations threaten the safety of the country.
These last 2 years, a number of NGOs have got around the rules of our democracy in trying to pressure the Hungarian government to change its policies. These NGOs also give advice to illegal immigrants and encourage them to flout the laws of Hungary. And this, in our eyes, is unacceptable.
After targeting the Constitutional Court, the Central Bank, and other public bodies, the Orban government is trying to silence civil society. But people are taking to the streets. Since last Sunday, there have been more and more demonstrations, like this one in front of the Prime Minister's residence. The young demonstrators want Brussels to help. Hungary will receive more than 21 billion euros from the European Union by the year 2020. For this director of an NGO defending human rights in Hungary, the EU needs to act now.
In Hungary, it's happening in the European Union. And if the European Union shuts its eyes to such a systemic disrespect for its values, then it says some things about the European Union itself. So I believe every European citizen should be acting and should be paying attention to what is happening within its borders.
As the demonstrations to save the Central European University continue, the European Commission spoke on Wednesday of its concern for the situation in Hungary, and it might open an infringement procedure against it by the end of the month, possibly for violating EU treaties.